I want to tell you a story. No one knows who wrote it. It was found in an old leather notebook, no date. No author, but everyone who truly understood it said the same thing. It changed my life. So just listen. Because somewhere inside this story, you might recognize a part of yourself. It started on a night full of snow and wind. I was sitting alone in a cafe, warming my hands on a cup of coffee. Every time the door opened, a cold gust swept across the room. Then he walked in, a man everyone knew as a failure. Talented but unlucky, always broke, always struggling. He wore the same old coat, the same tired hat, but tonight something was different. His eyes had a strange light. His posture carried a quiet confidence, like something inside him had shifted. He took his old drawings to editors who had rejected him before. This time, all three bought everything he brought because of a story. I asked. Yes, he said, because it reminded me of who I could still be. Before I could ask for the story, a waiter came. Telephone call for you. Start left the cafe and disappeared into the storm. Days passed, then weeks, but everywhere I turned, I met people whose lives had suddenly changed. Each one said the same thing. I heard Start's story, an estate agent, a clerk, a street vendor who suddenly bought a restaurant. Everyone had heard it. Everyone had changed. Everyone except me. One night I found Start in the same cafe, surrounded by people hanging onto his every word. I was too late again. When the group finally broke apart, I pulled him aside. If you consider me a friend, I said, you're going to let me hear this story. He handed me his room key. Go there. On the desk, you'll find a leather-bound album. The story is inside. I went. The album was strange rough leather, handmade pages, some looking like old parchment. Near the end, I found the manuscript. It was a confession from an old man who believed he had discovered a truth about success, failure, and the two selves inside every human. The writer told his life story briefly. He had learned a trade, become a cooper barrel maker, worked hard, and eventually owned his own shop. For a while, life was good. Then everything burned in a fire. His workshop, his tools, his savings. Left with debts he couldn't pay. He was thrown into debtor's prison. When he came out, he wasn't the same man. He worked again, but his spirit had collapsed. He spent his evenings in taverns, telling the same sad story over and over, feeding his misery, blaming everyone who hadn't helped him. He started cutting corners at work, stealing time, sliding lower and lower. He lost everything again, and this time he lost his character too. He ended up sleeping on a pile of wood shavings behind a workshop. His only roof was a stack of old barrels. That night he had a dream. In the dream, he was struggling through a blizzard, weak, freezing, exhausted. He came to a house with a warm light glowing inside. He looked through the window, and there he saw himself, but not the broken version of himself. A strong version, healthy, clear, confident, sitting by a fire with power in his eyes. He knocked on the door. The other self let him in and watched him with a subtle, almost teasing smile. He felt the shame of the contrast between them and ran back out into the storm. He woke up shivering. And he wasn't alone. He felt a presence, that same other self, standing right beside him. It looked just like him, but stronger, more complete. This presence followed him throughout the day, entering places he was afraid to go, the offices of old employers, the homes of people he owed money to, places that triggered shame. Day after day, this powerful presence moved with confidence while he remained paralyzed by fear. Finally, he found the courage to speak. "Who are you?" he asked. The presence replied, "I am you. I am your positive self. You are your negative self. Whichever one of us you feed is the one who rules your life." It continued. "When you fed bitterness and fear, I stepped back, but now you're at the bottom. You want to rise again, so I have returned." He whispered, "My will is weak, my mind is tired." The presence said, "For the positive self, everything is possible. It does not beg, it does not crawl, it does not wait. It moves and the world rearranges itself." He fell asleep and woke up different. The morning sun felt warm. His body felt strong. His mind felt alive. He looked around at his shelter of barrels and realized he didn't belong there anymore. In the corner, he saw something trembling, small, weak, broken shape. It was his negative self, the creature that had ruled his life for years. He laughed not in cruelty, but in freedom. He left the barrels behind. He entered the tavern not to complain, but to greet people warmly, and they looked at him differently with respect. Then he went to the cooper's workshop. Men were loading barrels onto a cart. He helped them without hesitation. Inside, he cleaned off an unused workbench and began to work, his hands remembering their old skill. The foreman entered, saw the pile of perfectly shaped pieces, and was astonished. The man simply said, "I'd like to work again," and that's how his new life began. Step by step, with discipline, with courage, with his positive self in control. He rebuilt everything: his career, his dignity, his strength. Before the manuscript ends, the old writer turns to the reader and says, "I am old now, but the secret of success is simple. You have two selves, one built on fear, one on strength. Whichever you feed becomes your life. He warns, fear strengthens the negative self, action strengthens the positive self. The world belongs to the self that moves, not the one that waits. He writes, "Whatever you want is closer than you think. Stretch out your hand and take it. Life is the greatest emergency. Do not wait." And finally, clean your inner house. Strengthen your will. Invite your positive self to reign. If you follow this recipe, it cannot fail. And that was the story that changed Start, the reporter, the vendor, and so many others. Not because it was magical, but because it reminded them of who they truly were before fear took over. The question now is simple. Which self are you feeding today? Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.